whatever stage of life that we're in, the fundamentals we're going to talk about will make a measurable difference for you, but you're going to have to decide what's right for you. So all I'm trying to tell you is, today, think of this as a second opinion. Think of this as the most important subject of your life, even though you may not have made it that way. Think of it as something that isn't a should, but a total what? A must to master, because if you master this, everything else you can dream of is available to you. And if you fail to master this, everything else goes to the wayside. I mean, I meet people all the time in relationships and they want relationship therapy. And I say, you know what you gotta do? You gotta exercise, you gotta work out, you gotta lose some weight. You guys are just so tired, there couldn't possibly be any passion. When you're exhausted, there is no passion. And you'll say, okay, well, I'm gonna really work on a plan and I'm gonna organize things and I'm gonna find the best trainer. And I come back and I'm talking to them a week later and they're still planning things. And this woman's telling me, no, but I'm gonna get the best trainer. I got the very best trainer to organize this. I said, ma'am, with all due respect, you don't need a plan, you need a trainer, you need somebody who gets behind you and just yells, run! Move! You don't need this long plan, you just gotta move. We're living in a society where nobody moves anymore. What do we like today? How do people get injured today? They don't get injured smashing into people playing football. I mean, they also get injured typing, right? Picking up a pencil. That's how people get hurt today because we don't use everything anymore. We live in a box. Think about it. Think about our lives today and how different it is than maybe the way we were formed to be made, to run, to hunt, to create, to procreate, to raise our children, to move, to farm, to do all the things that made us use all of our body. Today, what do? You wake up and you have this box life. You have a box breakfast, right? You get your box car, you drive to your box office, you load up a box elevator. You don't use the stairs, of course, right? You go to your box office where you type on a box, talk on a box, right? Go into a box room for meetings, right? Sure enough, got a little box you can type on, listen to music on, box, have your box lunch, drive your box home, or get in the train or subway, and another box home, get home to your box, and then turn on the box, type on a box, message on a box, and maybe go get a cylinder to change your state, right? Maybe. And most people's idea of exercise in our society today is fill the tub, pull the plug, and fight the current. That's the world we live in today. And so it's not hard to figure out why we're getting fat and why we're finally kind of tired and why we're building up acid in our system, consuming foods that have nothing alive in them anymore, where everything is denurtured and everything is chemicalized or radiated. So it can feel overwhelming. But I think if we got back to our common sense and if we were really committed, we can make it all work. And what I'm trying to say to you is really simply this morning. I'm going to take the morning and not talk to you about how to do this. We're going to figure out why to. Because 80% of success in anything is psychology and 20% is mechanics. It's the beliefs you have that are guiding your decisions. Listen, if you make a different decision, will you take different actions? Yes or no? Yes. If you take different actions, will you get different results? Yes or no? Yes. So this day is about some new decisions. Some decisions about what you're going to believe about health and energy, how important it's going to be from you from now on. What's going to be a must for you versus a should for you. Energy is a place that I've more than been, right? And I want to make sure that you have even more. I want to make it so that it's as effortless as possible in the future so you're not burnt out from it, so this becomes a sustainable experience. How do you make it sustainable? Create the base. How do you make it sustainable? Challenge it. Once you got a base, you challenge and grow. How do you do it? Then you got to celebrate and reward yourself for making these great rewards. And that celebration enhances your base because you feel better and stronger and you want to do even more good things. You want to eat better. You want to play better. And when you start working out and you start to get into it, you love it. You love it. And then your base gets even stronger so you can take on a bigger challenge in life. And sure enough, you reward yourself and celebrate some more. And it becomes how the rich get richer, how the happy get happier, how the healthy get healthier, and the poor get poorer, and the depressed get more depressed, and the unhealthy get more unhealthy. It's momentum. Today is that process of momentum. My goal is for you today to have more certainty. Certainty that you have the answers that can guide you, and that there will be challenges in your environment. There are going to be environmental challenges. There are going to be all kinds of things you'll face, but whatever it is, you can handle it. And I'm hoping that as a result of today, you'll not only make a difference in yourself, but you'll own this so much that you won't have to lecture anybody. They come to you and go, oh God, you have so much more energy. You look so much better. You lost this. How'd you do it? And you will say, let me tell you. And you will be a person who's a force for good that will pass it on to people. So my goal today is to plant seeds so that you not only get this, but this spreads to other people. And I just wanted to send out a little video message. By the way, I'm here in Fiji. It's a rough life. I'm doing 2 back-to-back seminars, but doing it here makes life not feel like much labor. But I got here because I had the privilege of stumbling upon a fundamental principle in my youth. And that principle was taught to me by my original teacher, and his name was Jim Rohn. And Jim taught me when I was just 17 years old that in life, there's only one way for you to really truly have your labor be fulfilling. A, you have to align with what's most important to you, what you really believe in, what's meaningful for you. That if you settle for something less than that, while you might have to do it because you have to pay your bills, you can't ever give up pursuing what's gonna make you feel most alive. Because ultimately, I really believe that probably the most sacred thing in our lives that we can give another human being besides our love is our labor. When you think about it, your labor is your energy, it's your time, it's your emotion, it's your intellect, it's your spirit to some extent. And if you can find a way where what you do for a living activates that sense of what you're made for, then work is not work, whether you be in Fiji or whether you be in an environment that might be seen less exciting and promising in the moment. Trust me, I worked in plenty of those too. But with the same level of excitement and passion, because I found what turns me on, that makes me feel alive, makes me feel like I'm doing something that's worthwhile. And on Labor Day, I think a lot of people, it's just a holiday to get away and take time off of labor. And my hope is to trigger you to think about how could you turn your labor into your love? I think it was Mark Twain who said, when your vocation becomes your vacation, that's when life becomes truly magnificent. And I'm privileged enough to have that, but I pursued it. And one of the secrets that I found, and I know you know this in your soul, is that we all know if you're gonna be masterful at something, you don't show up as the best in the world at something. You don't show up in environments that you want to be in. You get there because you did things for thousands and thousands of hours. Most of you know the concept of mastery taking 10,000 hours. It's an arbitrary number, but I'm sure you've heard about it. You want to get really good at something, it's 10,000 hours, because when you do something enough with enough intensity, enough intention to constantly get better, when your labor is your love and where your labor is something you have to always get better at, then usually what happens is you get these insights that allow you to serve more. But I also think that labor, talking about this weekend, what makes people fulfilled by their labor is their motives for it. If your motive is just to make money or just to pay your bills or just to get rich or whatever you think that's gonna be, those people never really are fulfilled even if they make the money. The most fulfilled human beings in my experience, and I've had the privilege of working with literally 4 million people from 125 countries now around the world, the people that are most alive, regardless of the economics, are people that have found something that they really feel the motive is more than just themselves. We all know what it feels like when you're trying to do for something for someone you love and you're not doing it as a trade, you're not trying to get something back, you're just doing it because it's what you're made for. And I always tell people motive does matter. That if you're just doing something for yourself, there's nothing wrong with that because life supports whatever else supports life. If you're part of life and you're trying to do something that's gonna make your life better, I think the universe, God, whatever proper term for you, whatever your belief system is, infinite intelligence gets connected to you and it gives you insights. But I think if you're trying to serve more than yourself, more life than just you, when things support more of life shows up to support you. And that might sound kind of airy-fairy, but it's my experience. When you're trying to support your family, when suddenly I had 4 kids, 3 of them overnight, my life changed, my intellect changed, my abilities changed because I was trying to serve something more than just me. When I started really focusing on how to serve a community and then a country and then humanity, as corny as it may sound, you get insights you won't get when you're just trying to somehow, make your labor happen or get the job done. So labor could be love, and it isn't for most people. Most people, I think, are unhappy in their life because they look at labor as work. They look at it as, why should I have to effort so much? And in my experience, effort is the reward. If you are doing something you love, it's there. So if you don't have it, you might say, Tony, that's all wonderful. You're in Fiji and you do what you love and I don't have that. Thanks so much for giving me the lecture. I'm not coming from that place. I'm coming from the place of saying you can discover something that you're really passionate about, but in order to do it, you got to get out of the story of what you can't do and you got to put yourself on the line. I mean, so many people right now, this Labor Day, are out of work. And when you don't have the privilege to be able to work, you start realizing that work really is a privilege. And most of us know that 2/3 of the planet's living on $2 a day. So no matter how difficult our life may be, most of us, our worst challenge is somebody else's greatest dream. And I think it starts with the gratitude for what we already have. It starts with understand that what's wrong is always available, but so is what's right. And if you and I can figure out what's right with what we do, if we can start where we are and enjoy that labor, everything changes. I'll give you a silly example of kind of a funny story. I had some partners in business when I was just, I think I was 18 years old, 19 years old. And one of them, they're both good friends of mine still, but one of them kind of called out to me, and they're Harvey and Marilyn Diamond. If you ever read the books Fit for Life, they were my partners before that book was written, and I kind of helped them build that business up initially. And it was a health business, and I believed in it, I was passionate about it. And Harvey and Marilyn got involved with a particular guru that they really believed in India. And gradually they started to decide that what they were gonna do is they were gonna do this chant in the seminars we're doing, which were seminars on how to become in a peak state of fitness and health. And we're doing them for successful business people those days in Beverly Hills and West Los Angeles and a couple other areas. And I was concerned that they were now going off to India to have these spiritual experiences, and they were gonna come back and they were gonna try and convert people to some form of spirituality. Whether it was right or wrong didn't matter, just it wasn't what we were in business for. And I wanted to change people's lives with health. So being a young kid and thinking you have all the answers, I went to India with one thing in mind. I'm gonna make sure that I have a conversation with a guru and he straightens my partners out so they understand that their labor is a gift and they need to give their labor separate from their spiritual belief. So I go off on this journey and I go to India and I stay outside this ashram because I'm not a follower of this thing. And they're in the ashram and I go have my meals. And one day I come back from having this meal and this old monk comes up to me and the monk says, excuse me, I've not met you. I introduced myself and he says, what are you here for? I said, well, I'm here to see the guru. I want to have a meeting. If you know anything about India, you don't just have a meeting with the guru. People come for 5 or 7 years and don't get such meetings. And I said, I'm here to get his help to straighten something out. It's very important with some of us followers. And the man said, well, I haven't seen you at Seva. And I said, what's Seva? He said, well, Seva is where you come and volunteer your time to give work, to give labor to the guru. And I said, I'm not a follower of the guru, so I don't do Seva. He goes, yeah, but you're staying in the guru's place. I said, I'm paying to stay in the guru's place. He goes, it doesn't matter. You're eating the guru's food. I said, I'm paying for the guru's food. He goes, but here you have to pay and you must give labor. And you must volunteer 4 hours a day to Seva. I'm thinking, you gotta be kidding me. But after he left, he said, you should report to this place for your assignment. I'm thinking, there's no way I'm gonna do this. But then I started feeling guilty. I see all these people, doctors and lawyers and moms and kids, and they're all working. And so finally I report for Seva. Thinking, all right, I'll get this out of the way. And so I show up for the Seva, I'll never forget, right, for my labor. And the guy looks at me and goes, oh, big man, furniture mover. And I go, oh, no, I got a bad back, which was true, but I was exaggerating how bad it was at that moment just because I didn't want to do a bunch of heavy labor. And when I was growing up, I grew up very poor, and I'm the oldest of 3, and I had to do all the shopping, all the grocery shopping on my bicycle, come home, make the meal, and I was happy with all that. But then, right when you wanted to be done with your work and go watch sports or do something great, I had to wash the dishes. So I swore someday I will never do the labor of washing dishes. I will afford a dishwasher. I will find some way to not have to do dishes. I tell you this as a background because when I told him I couldn't be a furniture mover, he looks down and goes, oh, only one other job left, dishwashing. Now, dishwashing in India is a different labor than you might picture in your kitchen. And you're in this ashram and I report and there's these milk solids and yogurts on the floor and you're standing in your bare feet and you're taking these filthy dishes coming across, and it's 4 hours a day for 6 or 7 days. I'm telling you, I was so angry, I was so mad. I was mad at myself that I was there. I was mad and I was washing these dishes and upset, and plus I was a vegan and I didn't like the fact there was milk on the floor. I was judgmental about everything. In the middle of all this stuff, after about an hour of being angry, I got tired of being angry, and some part of me kicked in and goes, damn, whatever you do, you're the best at it. Why don't you be the best damn dishwasher? So I started washing these dishes with a frenzy. I'm like, come on, guys, speed this thing up. And something magical happened. The thing that I thought was most disgusting and filled with labor and work became play. And I started to laugh at myself. And I thought, what an ego jerk you are to think that you're below washing some dishes. And then I got beyond my ego and jerk into, why not just enjoy whatever you do? And then when you do, all of a sudden it's not work anymore. And that was my great spiritual breakthrough. I eventually did meet with this guru and try to straighten him out, but he didn't think very much of an 18-year-old kid straighten him out. He laughed quite a bit. He did talk to my partners and said, I think you guys should just, keep teaching what you're teaching. And Fit for Life went on to be one of the most successful books in history. but I can't claim credit for that. I was a part of that little piece. But I will tell you that if you can if you can get yourself to love to do the stuff you hate to do, then there's no limit to the success you can have in your life. If you can take the things that you're afraid you'd have to do to succeed in your business or to succeed in your life or to succeed in your relationship, there are things everybody doesn't want to do. And the more focused you are on how you're not going to do that, the more life seems to bring those things up for you and makes them barriers. So maybe on Labor Day, maybe it's time to take something that you can't stand doing and say, you know, I'm going to do this for 2 hours. I'm going to find a way to love the hell out of it. And if you did, you might find a little breakthrough. You might find that if you're in the moment with anything and you tap into your ability to enjoy anything in life and you just focus on what you can give instead of what you can get, in that state of giving, work disappears. And doesn't matter if you're by the ocean or in the desert. It doesn't matter with whether people even thank you or not, honestly, as much as we all enjoy people's gratitude. When you've done something really well and you know it, doesn't matter what anybody else says, you know who you are, you know what you've become, you know what you've given. And in the end, even the people that seem to be selfish inside, we all are yearning for something more in ourselves. We're yearning to feel like our life matters. And I see people all the time, it makes me choke up, who are just working their tail off and they're just so focused on the work that they've forgotten that it's a gift they can give. Sometimes that gift is just their joy. Sometimes that gift is your attention. Sometimes that gift is a level of effort that's extraordinary. And I think one of the reasons I've been able to reach so many people is when people come to my events, if you can imagine, you know, most people won't sit for a 3-hour movie that somebody has, you know, spent $300 million on. And I take people for a weekend for 50 hours. I've got, you know, Oprah Winfrey there, who says I won't sit for 2 hours and ends up loving it and becoming a dear friend. And I've got a soccer mom from Germany on a headset translated for 50 hours. And they all come out of that going, most incredible experience of my life. It's because when I'm up there, it isn't labor, it's serving. If you can tap into that service, gosh, then I get choked up when I talk about it. It's what life's made for. Life's not about me, life's about we. You know that. Maybe on Labor Day, it's a good time to remember that labor is service and service is life. And then when we serve something more than ourselves, we feel more alive. So that's my 2-second rant. I'm an emotional guy, and it's an issue that I think most people are missing. And it's you see so many people out there without a job or jobs that are just completely unthanked. I think one of those jobs is all of the people, the men and women in the armed services that are going out there working their tail off, giving their labor where their life is on the line for us. And I hope maybe on Labor Day, you'll think about some of those people too. So take care, blessings, live strong, and live with passion.